Curious what to you being mindful means.
Doing things with intention. Okay, this is what they want to do. And a lot of people I've noticed, you would kind of just see their intention right away. Like they just want to do things for quick money. You've seen those people come and go and stuff like that. But I would think about being mindful as like, what is like zooming out? What's the big picture here? My business is like, okay, if we do the right things for our clients and for, you know, whatever we're doing right now, we do the best we can and do it with intention, creates this huge advantage over your competitors, because most people don't think like that.
What was the moment where you looked at social media and you're like, I gotta get into that?
Bro, I didn't even have an account. If like we were at a family thing or a thing and you were on like Facebook, I'd be like, bro, you're giving away all your privacy. Like I was a conspiracy dude. I didn't even have an account, 2018. And then so I'm like, I'm gonna start making videos. The videos were so bad. Like, you know, when you first start, especially for me, I was not super extroverted. I was more like a nerd behind the desk all the time. So my first content were just cringe, but just kept doing it. I even noticed even with bad content at the time, because nobody was doing it, it still got me a lift in business.
I think right now we're in a place with content and social media where we're kind of over that. It's definitely not like early adopters. It's like we're kind of at the saturation point.
For sure.
I think for new people, it's someone who's never made content just coming out. Do you think it's impossible? Neel, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
So, dude, just to start, I'm curious what to you being mindful means.
Mindful. I think it's like, I think doing things with intention, right? So I would think of it as a lot of people just check the box of like, okay, this is what they want to do. And a lot of people I've noticed, you would kind of just see their intention right away. Like they just want to do things for quick money. You've seen those people come and go and stuff like that. But I would think about being mindful as like, okay, what is like zooming out? What's the big picture here? How can we think long-term, not just short-term, really quick? And I think about doing things the right way. And I've done this in my business is like, okay, if we do the right things for our clients and for, you know, whatever we're doing right now, we do the best we can and do it with intention, it like creates this huge advantage over your competitors, because most people don't think like that. So that's probably how I think of being mindful with everything we do.
So like thinking holistically about everything as a whole.
Yeah. Rather than just like, okay, how do we make the most money this week? Or how do we close the most sales? Or, you know, get this offer? Like that's important. Sales is important for sure. But I think big picture, like, okay, if we do this the right way, how does this work long term? Like next 2, 3, 4 years, you know? And that's worked huge for us so far.
Yeah, I think that is something I've seen from you. It's like you've never been concerned, at least as far as I've seen, you know, seen your stuff from like the short-term stuff. It's like, how do I create a long-term winning structure where it's sustainable?
Yeah. And I don't know, I don't have like a plan for like the next, like a whole thing laid out for how things are going to be next 5 to 10 years. Like I don't think that far ahead, but I just know if you do things with intention, if you do the right thing business-wise, like if you take a bigger picture approach to everything we're doing day to day, you'll get more results long-term. It seems to work out that way.
Yeah, and a lot of people will look at you and say like, dude, that guy's good at content, or like that guy's, you know, the world's best, you know, at selling loans. But like realistically, like what I've seen is I've seen exactly that. Yeah. Like you've been able to like very gradually build your brand in a very sustainable way where like people love you. Like I bet
I would rather do a community than have like a huge number of followers or any of that stuff. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever had any times where like you've been close on payroll or like, you know, things that you've been crunched where it's like, we need to like do some big moves this month?
Well, no. So I guess a long time ago for sure. But the way I did this was I got good at my main core thing first. So like, what am I good at? Okay, I'm going to do, I'm doing
in your previous life or your current life? Because really you have like
2 lives. Yeah. So first life is like, okay, I'm in mortgages, trying to do business, trying to get clients, right? Like everybody else in the industry. And I'm making like 6 figures, doing okay. But I knew I was capable of doing more. So then what I introduced and figured out was content marketing and building a brand. And even with a small following, how powerful that would, of an advantage that was in my market. So I started doing that. That's what got me to making 7 figures and multiple 7 figures in mortgage and real estate. So then that I actually got successful doing that for a number of years, and then started doing coaching and events and all these things. So I already had like business success. So then when we got into that business wasn't driven by like, how do I make the most money right now? It was about just helping build my brand, but then also how do we make the biggest impact? So like, yeah, there was times for sure when I was doing mortgages and I wanted to get to the next level where like I remember just being asked like, hey, just from my wife, like just talking about money and being like, hey, there's not enough money to do this or this. Like, where are we going to move things around? And like feeling that stress. But then as I got successful in mortgage, then that whole problem went away. So then it was like, okay, how do I help other people do the same thing? But as far as in the current business with Forward, with like marketing and events and education, we've never had to have to worry about that.
Yeah, it's good. I've noticed people who could find themselves in that spot.
Yeah.
They can't think holistically because they're thinking, how do I survive tomorrow?
Yeah, that's probably a good point. That's probably why you see people do so much short-term activity and maybe not do the right thing in the short term because they need to.
Right.
Like you got to get the sales right now. And I'd never have had to do that in that business.
I think even in business and success too, looking at people who grow up in like, like in underprivileged areas and stuff, it's like, they're just thinking like, how do I survive today?
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, dude, go read Think and Grow Rich. Come on. You go read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You got to think about mindset. It's like, dude, I don't even have food tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're coaching and working with people, who are in that framework, is your thing like, hey, go get good at something like you did with loans and then think about the next thing later?
Yeah. Especially, I think there's so many people in coaching or in education that maybe aren't even successful in their own business, which sucks.
Right.
I think there's less of that today because it's kind of gone through this whole, weeding out of the weak players. But there's probably more to come. But like, who wants to be trained by a fat trainer? Like same thing with this. Like you should be good at the thing, or if you're not good at it, you should have a history of getting other people those results. So I think either way, you should have some sort of proof. And I think like people who maybe don't have success themselves, how you would get that proof that you need to be successful and be like walk the walk, lead by example, would be just to help other people do it. And so I remember when we first launched some of the education and the coaching stuff, I would just find people in my industry that I could help for free, test it out, make sure I could get results before I sold anything. Because if I'm selling something, I want to make sure it actually works. Like I want it to be proven and have success stories and all that stuff. Like you need proof. And I think a lot of people just go to the market with no proof and they don't even know if the offer works. So they don't even know what they're selling works. And then, then they burn people. And then now, you never get past that point where it's really cool. I was just talking to you about this before. We haven't had to run ads because organic's been doing so well. Well, part of organic to me, bro, is other customers, like people in our community telling other people to come to the events, telling other people to buy this offer or telling them about our programs or services. That's the best organic I've found is just word of mouth. That only happens though if you're getting people results.
Yeah, because people that are buying your stuff probably know other people that are qualified to buy your stuff.
For sure.
They just tell their friend, oh yeah, just buy him. Like they're already sold.
Yeah, this is the craziest thing. So we were at our event last year and the sales team that signs up people for our programs is there and they're like giving
the back of room guys.
Yeah. So they're giving me
be careful if you're at an event, the sales team's coming.
Yeah. So they come up to me at like one of the breaks on day 2 and they're like, Neel, we're at this number. We're short 20, 30 people from our target of where we needed to be for us to meet our program rule. And I was like, okay, well, I'll let people know. It wasn't like a hard sale event. So I was just letting people know a couple times. We did their offer on day 1 and then I hadn't let anybody know on day 2. So I didn't want it to be like every time I got on stage, I'm pitching my thing. So it's more of just like an invitation. And so I was like, yeah, okay, I'll remind people at the next break that we need, that we're running out of time and go see. But I was thinking to myself, I was sitting right there and there's one of the people who's in our group who's crushing it. And she's standing right there. Her name's Anna. And I was like, Anna, you brought people with you to the event, right? And she's like, yeah, I brought like all my crew, like they love this. And I was like, do you know if any of them would get value out of what we're doing in the mastermind program? And she's like, oh yeah, I know a guy right now. Like, I was like, well, would you mind introducing us? And she's like, yeah, stay here, right here. She went over, got him, brought him over and he signed up. And I was like, wait a second, like we're doing this wrong, bro. Like you're trying to sell people. The best is like, there's nothing more stronger than a current customer testimonial or someone that's in the program that tells someone else about it. And this works in any business, I'm sure. Like if I'm referred to you to work with you from a friend that I trust, you don't have to sell me anything. That's the best marketing ever.
Yeah.
You can't buy that. You can only earn that. So like, how would you earn that in your business? And then eventually, if that's with enough people, bro, you'll never have a problem with business because you could just let your people know. And then I'm sure you can incentivize them with affiliate programs and pay them. And like, I haven't gotten into all that yet, but I just knew that was so powerful. So then the next dude was sitting right next to this guy, Mace. I was like, hey, Mace, who do you know? He's like, dude, I'll be right back. Brings over someone, signed up. I was like, okay, this is what we need to do. Like, just ask our people, who do they know that would benefit, and then bring it. And then it actually is a really cool community now because it's all like-minded people that were referred in, and it's more personal, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like how I imagine you grew your business in selling loans.
Yeah, word of mouth referrals.
Yeah, you didn't have billboards, did you?
No, I mean that shit works, but you need to be really skilled at sales and follow up, and how many touches you make before you get a sale, and like all those kinds of, and all the funnels and everything. And so if you're not really, really dialed in at like nurturing leads, which most individuals are not, then the other way would be to focus on warm referrals, like warm leads. But most times people can't get enough of those. So like there's this thing called your sphere of influence. These are the people that could refer you business. And so what changed the game for me in business was like, I was always focused on this sphere, and these people in this circle that knew, like, and trust me, they would send me clients, and it was great, but it's not enough to like get to the next level. So how do you make that sphere or that circle bigger? And the best way for me was content. So I started putting out videos and, building that brand. And then what happened was that circle got really big. So I was getting a lot more inbound warm referrals, that people that don't have to be hard sold, people that if you have the worst follow-up ever, like you don't have all your email sequences and you're calling and you're not really dialed in, but you don't need to if they're a higher quality lead, right? So it just made like people sold on working with you. You get shopped less, you get all these benefits. So for me, I think the number one thing that anybody could do to make more money in there is build brand. It's the hardest thing to do. It takes time, but it will have the most benefit to your business.
Step one, be Apple.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like you could do it on a small level. Like 1,000 followers I had, 2,000 followers at the time. People, it's not a huge following.
Is that what you had when you started?
Yeah. And that's how I went from 6 to 7 figures, was just with a small community of people. So I would put out content, so that would help me get more inbound leads. But then I would host like micro events, and people would come to the events because of the content. And then I would get more business partners that could refer me. And so all these things kind of grew just grassroots from just having a small following. So I always say this, like, I'm not selling t-shirts. I'm in a high margin business. Like, each customer is valuable to my business. So if that's the case, you don't need massive numbers. Like, people think you got to be a YouTuber with millions of subscribers. Well, not necessarily. I made 6 figures from a video that had like 800 views because it was people that are the right person is watching that video, and they're watching you for 10, 15 minutes. They're learning about buying their investment property. If they buy with you, that's a huge win for your business. Just one customer, right? So I think people get that mixed up. They think that you need huge numbers. That's only if you're selling something that's low margin and you need mass sales. But if you're in a high margin business, you need very small numbers to make a big impact.
What was the moment where you looked at social media and you're like, I got to get into that?
I think it was like following. So I didn't even have an account. If like we were at a family thing or a thing and you were on like Facebook, I'd be like, bro, you're giving away all your privacy. Like, I was a conspiracy dude. I didn't even have an account, 2018. And then I remember getting one finally because I saw kind of like somebody made a presentation about it. I was like, okay, let me just try LinkedIn. Let me get Facebook. And I started dabbling. But I started following people like Gary V and like Ed Milet and all these influencers. And I remember them posting, and I remember Gary posted something about like, from a data perspective, he was talking about underpriced attention and like, even at the time, how cheap ads were. Like you look at the cost to acquire a customer now with ads, it's gone up a lot since like 5-10 years ago. It was so cheap back then. So he was just talking about it from like both organic and paid, how cheap it was and how this was a really good business opportunity. And look at it like an investment. Like, wouldn't it be cool to catch Amazon when it was small, or wouldn't it be cool to catch these trends early? So if you're smart, you should be catching this trend. And I was like, okay, that makes sense on a logical level. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start making videos. The videos were so bad though. Like, when you first start, especially for me, I was not like super extroverted. I was more like a nerd behind the desk all the time. So my first piece of content were just cringe, but just kept doing it. And then kind of, I even noticed even with bad content at the time, because nobody was doing it, it still got me a lift in business. But I just got through that phase and then got decent at it. And then I really saw the big benefit.
What was the first couple videos you posted?
So I would just make a list. So for anybody who's like thinking about, okay, what do I need to do to make content? It's just, the content is in your calendar already. Like, so I would just look at last week, who are the people I spoke to? What problems did they have and how did I solve them? What questions did they have and how did I answer them? So I'd make like a column, like T on a sheet on left side and right side. And then those were the topics of the videos. So like some dude came to me and
left side, right is problem solution?
Yes, or question answer, whatever. So I look at the meetings and the things that I'd done that week and I was like, okay, well, this dude had a problem with this credit. We did X, Y, and Z and he got approved. This person lacked 20% down or big down payment. How did we solve that? We put them in this program. Like, and there's so many of these things that people do in their business daily that you kind of take for granted because you've been doing it for 10 years. But like to the audience, bro, that's a big impact. So like if somebody, if something I did to them that I think is just day to day, but for them got them into a home, bro, that like changes their whole financial path, right? It's a big impact on them. So I was like, okay, these are the topics of the videos. So then it became like a question of how do you package it? And that was the part where I messed up is like, for most people, it's too long of a video. It's boring video. How do you make it more, I guess, engaging? How do you say it properly so people actually don't tune you out? That was all the skills that came later. But in the beginning, like if you're worried about like what topics, the topics are already there. It's simple.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah. That is really simple. I think a lot of people get stuck up in right now. There's like people going to ChatGPT and writing scripts, and it's so obvious.
Yeah, it just sounds, it's not you.
Yeah, how to transform and unlock your new opportunities. Like,
yeah,
this isn't just a video; it's a life transformation.
So it's interesting using AI to create content. Most people do it wrong. They just use like a bad prompt, and then you get these generic AI written scripts. You can tell just the way you said that, that's an AI written script. It's almost become its own tone or whatever. Like you can just tell that that is written by AI. We have a group where people post content and one dude, and they turn in their content for feedback. And the dude turned it in and we're like looking at it. I'm like, this is not you. Was this ChatGPT? And he's like, yeah. And it just sounds that robotic, those words that you wouldn't, not conversational, just not authentic. So the right way is to like train it on how to do it the way you would do it or how to do it like this person and then eventually get there. But most people don't even get that far.
What do you think that tone level of ChatGPT and AI is?
So I don't know if you've played with this, but I've noticed that Claude, which is a different language model than ChatGPT, is way better at this. So what I've been doing is I've been refining the way I, like getting all my content into transcripts, and I talk a certain way and maybe frame things a certain way and use certain hooks and all these kinds of things in my content. And so you can upload all that data and create like a profile within Claude. And then now when you want to talk about a topic, Claude will write it for you in the way that you would write it.
I was like, dude, this guy's phone keeps going off. It was my phone.
Yeah. So then, you could use Claude to write your content. It's like, but that needs to be trained. It can't just, like the one that comes out of the box usually is not the best. So, and that's the one that people use for their videos. So that's why it doesn't work.
Have you tried Notebook LM?
No, I haven't tried that one.
It's Google just released it. You can upload 40 documents. I think it's like 200,000 characters each. It's insane.
Yeah.
And you upload all the documents, and then there's a one-click button that says audio recap, and it processes it, and then there's a podcast of 2 voices that have a podcast about the documents you uploaded. So you can upload like 30 books on marketing, and you could say, transcribe this. And I did this. I found out about 2 days ago. It just came out. I hit it. And then like 2 minutes later, there's a 22-minute audio of like a girl and a guy having a conversation about the stuff.
These are like the AI people.
Yeah, AI people. Okay. And of course, it's a really good AI tone too. Like if it was 5 years ago, you'd have no idea it was AI.
Wow.
Yeah. So AI's come a long way.
For sure.
But ultimately, like I think right now we're in a place with content and social media where we're kind of over that. It's definitely not like early adopters. It's like we're kind of at the saturation point.
For sure.
So I think for new people, it's someone who's never made content just coming out. Do you think it's impossible?
No, I think like there's still massive opportunity, but I think people use like an old playbook. So if you want to get started today, you'll notice that there's still never. So here's the thing. If you're thinking about posting content, the biggest opportunity is here right now because so many people are addicted to their device. Like there's people outside that will literally trip over a curb because they're like, they can't even walk from their door to their car without looking at their phone. People's backs are like permanently arched. It's like becoming a thing. Everybody's on their phone, right? Looking at content on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. So there's this huge opportunity, never been that many eyeballs. But at the same time, like you just said, there's never been so many people trying to be content creators than there is right now. So how do you cut through the noise? One way is obviously being yourself, but then the other way is just structuring your content better than the rest. So like, for example, podcasts are saturated. The world doesn't need another podcast, bro. But if you do it the right way, it's not saturated. I found the same thing with content. Like you just said, it's super saturated. I think it's mature. It's not as easy as it was a few years ago. But if you do it with intention and you actually think about what you're saying and how to package it right, and you cut the clips the right way, you can still win. So I think you just have to be better at your craft.
Yeah. What do you think that is? Because there's like people that go really hard on editing, and I've tried this too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it just looks, unless you're like an editor and that's your thing,
Yeah.
it just looks bad. Like if I try to do like an over edited video, people are gonna be like, well, why is he trying so hard? So I think people need to find like what's the unique thing for them, and then go really hard, I think, into that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like even just if someone's like, let's say you 5 years ago, like what would you tell him in today's age, right? Like never made a video,
Yeah.
doesn't even have Instagram. Like what's step one for him?
So step one would be to first come up with more the ideas of stuff you want to teach.
So like that
Yeah,
example
you do
you
that
said.
chart. Yeah, that works. And then separate that from the time you go to shoot. Because like say it's time to shoot content. You sit down with the camera, turn it on. Like you're going to freeze up. You're wasting, like the time won't be the best if you don't have the ideas coming in. So I would separate ideation from like actually shooting content. That's going to save people a ton of time and make it actually practical. But when you go to shoot the content, as far as like what's going to work, what's not going to work, in the beginning, it's just about your delivery. So people will ask us, they'll be like, bro, what editing software, what font, what about this transition? And it's like, that isn't the reason why a video does well. It's the message and how you delivered the message. Like we give people scripts and one person will do the video and reach 100 people. Somebody else will say the exact same words and reach 100,000 people. What was the difference? It definitely wasn't the font on the edit. It's the way this person delivered the message. So I feel like that's the part people need to focus on is like your pace, your delivery, like communication style, how you're retaining the audience. You ever notice that there's some people, when they pop up, you could listen to them for a few minutes, and there's other people, when they talk, it's like a few seconds go by, I can't watch this person. What is that? I don't know. Like it's almost intangible, but that's the part you got to get good at. And that, unfortunately, is just reps. Like, so we all start kind of cringe there, but you can do things to kind of shorten that learning curve by just being more concise, being clear, thinking about your ideas first before you just start rambling on camera. So I would do that first. And then the other part of like these like small tweaks that retain the audience, that just comes with actually doing it a lot. I think it's the same with like public speaking and all that stuff. You'll notice people start one way and then eventually like now people actually listen to them when they speak.
Do you think it's the talking head style of just sitting, talking to a camera is still a thing?
So one thing I would say that you should do if you're making talking videos, and this will change the game, is instead of just talking, you should show them. So I've made this tweak where if I'm going to talk about the numbers on a deal or I'm going to show somebody something about a property, you need to show the actual thing. People are visual learners. They want to see it. So I might start with the talking head, but within 3 seconds, I'm cutting to me on a notepad. I'm cutting to the vibe board and you're writing things down. So we tested this. We did 2 videos where one, I just explained the concept. The second one, I showed it visually on the vibe board. The one got 10 times the views. So just think about showing it, not just telling them. That works huge.
What was the first time you really monetized your following in your social media?
So I didn't think about monetization at all right away. All I was trying to do is just get more people to follow me and view my content just for brand. So all I was trying to do is just build brand. So I would just post the content, and like my metric for whether I was happy or not with my social was like, did more people watch it? And this was pre-viral like content. Like not everybody could go viral. Like it was just, you got very limited amount of views. So I remember starting, bro, and it was like literally 80 people watch your video. That's a lot of people. If you ever taught a class for 80 people, that's a lot of people. Now, someone would consider that a failure. But I was like, dude, this is great, man. Normally I had to call people one-to-one, and now I just got 80 people. Even if they only watched me for 5 seconds, that was
It's a really good perspective.
easy. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let me do that again. Like, so it's just for me, the concept of flipping from one-to-one to now one-to-many. Like, same reason why we do webinars. You're going to teach one person. Why don't we teach 100? Like, you know what I mean? If you can flip that, it'll change your business because now you have more leads and you have more people that you're building brand with. So I was just focused on that. But then what happened was the way I monetized my social following was not with me selling them something. It was just with them using me for the service I was offering. So in this case, it was mortgage. They would reach out to me for help with that, or they would reach out to me to buy a property, and then we would connect them with one of the realtors that we worked with, and then they would start the process. We'd do the loan, you know, and make money there. And so that was how I monetized it, was just getting more customers for my thing. So I feel like people that go to social just to make money, it would be way easier if you went to social with a business, like an offer that you already have, that you help people with, and then now you come to social, and then people naturally want to work with you on whatever your service is. So that's the first way I monetized. But then as far as like selling them a specific thing on social media, like a program or coaching stuff, that was probably like 3 years in. I launched a low ticket community. So I just said, hey, I've been using content for the last few years. It's exploded my business. Here's my results. I've actually helped a few people in the industry on a one-to-one basis, and these are the results we got. So I actually want to help more of you. And so I'm going to launch this community, and here's what it is, and here's what it costs. And I'm going to get you guys in for like nothing, basically, because you're my founding members. And then I was surprised, like 50 people joined. I was like, whoa, that was crazy. Like I just, from an Instagram story, and I'd only had like maybe 10, 20K followers at the time. So I was like, and you know how it is on stories, like it's like a small segment of your following. So I think that's a big misconception. People think you have 10,000 followers, 10,000 people see your stories. No, maybe like a few hundred people see your stories at that time. You know, it's a small fraction. So I remember doing that, getting these people to join, and I was like, wow, that's cool. And then we grew up from there. And now we have like over 1,000 people in that community. But it started off with like 50 of my closest followers.
What's interesting is the way you articulate things and you communicate. There's a lot of like, you're really good at communicating the value in what you say. And I'm not sure if you're even conscious of the fact you do that.
Yeah.
Have you done like much sales, like personal development in the form of sales and communication?
No, but just ridiculous amount of content. So like I'm thinking, if somebody's watching or listening to this, how could we give them the most value, right? Also, I'm thinking this is going to be content for me. So like I want to teach, like, so you start to speak almost in sound bites, or like set up your thought, you know, or like you see these clips all the time on social, and it's like, dude, how'd they get that clip? Sometimes they took something you said and they move it to the front, but many times it's like these people get really good at like grabbing people's attention and setting up their thing and speaking in sound bites. So that's part of it. And then the other part is what I've had to do a ton of is teach over the last few years, and I finally got decent at it. Like it took a while, but I would speak at events, I would host workshops and teach, and it was not good. And I remember like people would say like, oh, you know, I got lost in your talk, or you put too much, you overwhelmed me, or I would see people tuning out and going on their phones or leaving the room. So I'm like, oh shit, I got to get better at this. So I hired a speaking coach, and he helped me like be a better public speaker, and that helps you with content too.
Do you talk to your kids in sound bites?
No, I should, yeah. But that'd be better.
Here's the reason you need to make your bed, son.
Yeah.
It's like boom, boom, boom.
Set up with a good hook. Yeah. But you start to speak like that, but people pay attention then. I don't think you have to like take it as literal as like every sentence has a hook, but it's just weird. I noticed that the consumer, the listener, the viewer is most attracted to clarity and confidence, but they're repelled by confusion. So if there's anything confusing or people don't understand, they're gone. Like there's nobody has any bandwidth to stick around for you to make sense of this. Either they understand you or they don't. And it's like binary. You see, if you watch someone scroll social, it's insane how many pieces of content they scroll. Like if you ever watched like a teenager do it, it's crazy. They'll burn through like I don't even know how many pieces of content in seconds. But then when they stop on one, like what made them stop? Why did they watch that video? So to me, it's like a game. It's like psychology. Like how do you get them to listen to you? That's like a really profitable thing for your business too, by the way.
It's like Trump and with his communication, right? Like he speaks so simple, like we're going to do big things, great things, the best things. Like,
yeah,
oh, I like that guy, you know? So
yeah. And it's almost like he makes Trump-isms. Like he'll like call people by certain names and do all these cool things. Like, you don't realize it in the moment. You think it's kind of a shtick or a joke, but it makes everything he's saying more memorable. Yeah. So I noticed like a lot of politicians do that. The good ones anyways.
What do you think a good split of selling? Because I feel like you never sell, even now to this day.
Yeah.
Like, I think occasionally I'll see like a black screen with some text, like event coming up soon.
Yeah.
And that's it. What's your philosophy on value? Like,
So I think of it like a bank account. The more value you provide to the audience, you have like a big balance, right? And then when you want to sell something and it's a straight up sale, I think of that as a withdrawal. And so most people like just go on and sell, and you're like overdraft. You're in overdrawn because you never built any equity with the audience, no brand. But the other way of doing this is to hide your offers, but not like in a bad way hiding, but make your offers in the form of giving. So one way that I sell without really selling or being salesy is offer something of value as a lead magnet. So for example, you'd be like, okay, hey, here's a cool success story. I just helped my client do X, Y, Z, and they got this great result. And you know that this is a result other people want. Now, here's the thing. If you're thinking about doing the same thing, I actually put together this guide. It'll walk you through the 10 things you need to know. And if you want to grab it for free, just comment this word and I'll send it over to you. So I'm selling in that video. I'm selling the free guide. But to the audience, it was a gift. Like, dude, I'm giving you a free resource. So it doesn't count as a withdrawal. So what's really cool about doing marketing in the right way is like, you'll get more people and you'll build your top of funnel without having to actually sell. And then you could sell behind the curtain. So I like selling, like you said, I don't see you sell that often. Where we will sell is on the email or on the webinar. But on the front end, you don't have to like tarnish your brand by constantly.
I know I'm
selling.
not on your list.
Yeah. But if you were, you would get a sales email every once in a while.
This guy sells all the time.
Not probably all the time, but like, yeah, we do a lot of offers, and that's how we get customers. And then when we fill the event, it's mostly through email. Because when you post on social, not many people take action on a sales thing anymore. I feel like the audience is kind of burnt out on salesy stuff. I know like e-com stuff does well, but like info stuff, events, I feel like coaching and courses, they just don't sell as much just straight up on there. So you'll notice most people are getting people into some other thing. So I think of like, okay, customers here, what you want them to do is here. Most people want them to just make this journey all by themselves. If you would just back up the truck a little bit and just make a few steps before that, then you'd be way better off. And it doesn't feel so salesy. So what's that thing you could offer them that's just easy that you could just give them? And then the part that makes this work or not work is the thing that you give them for free needs to actually be valuable. I thought you could just put together some bullshit and just get like, no, nobody wants it. So then it's bad when you can't even give it away. So that's where like, okay, how do I get people to actually want whatever I'm saying and offering, and then make that thing actually good? Then people like they'll opt in.
Yeah, and the offers that I do marketing for, we've realized just like it is a lot harder to get people to buy.
Yes.
And so for us, I had to start being creative about 2 years ago, where it's like, how do we rapidly indoctrinate people with content? Because like the amount of content, especially cold traffic, like you get tons of people who've already been watching you for a year. It's like they've already consumed a couple hours of your stuff. Yeah. But for someone who's like a cold lead, how do we get them? And that's why webinars are so powerful. Yeah. It's like we can get someone who's never heard of you, get them to sit down for 2.5 hours, get 500 of them in front of you for, a reasonable cost, and you get to present your offer to everyone.
Yeah, it's huge because there's the thing called time on brand. If you understand time on brand, you'll make way more money. You'll have way better sales and all this stuff. And it's this concept, like you just said, of getting people to spend more time watching your content or whatever. And so how do you do that? Like you just said, one of the easiest ways is once people start following you is to get them into a webinar and actually do a good webinar. So first step is get them to opt in, but then the next is like, how do you run your webinar to where people don't just put the screen on black and zone out and do other things? Like make it actually good. And that takes time. But if you can host a good webinar, people pay attention. The ultimate form of this, I've noticed, is events, live events, because they're literally sitting watching you. Like they're not, sometimes if you suck, they'll be on their phone. But if you're doing a good event, you have their attention. You can't buy that level of attention normally. Like even if you buy an ad, it's hard to keep them for a few seconds. So like if they're sitting in your place, they flew in.
Yeah, they paid to be there, or
Yeah,
they drove to be there.
They got a hotel room, whatever. Like you're on stage, you're talking to them, you have 100% attention. That's amazing opportunity for you. So obviously you want to provide value, but in that space, if you want to promote your product or service, great place to do so after you provided value, of course. And then there's a lot of people who will take you up on your offer if you do a good job. So I love live events. It's harder to pull off, but like the easier way would be online, virtual, just do a webinar.
Yeah. Do you see events? I see a lot of people who were doing events. Like there were, it used to be the weekend seminar guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But I feel like the events are becoming less frequent, and it's becoming harder to sell tickets, and there's like less people showing up to them.
Yeah, I've noticed that the same thing. It's more difficult to do. So I think people, again, just used a playbook from years ago that doesn't work anymore. So used to be you could just put up a bunch of great information or speakers, and they're going to be teaching you X, Y, Z, and then people want to go there because they want to learn from these people, and they want to meet these people. What's happened is the audience has become numb to information. There's so much free information, and the value of free information has gone up. So think about like an Alex Hormozi. Like he literally gives away everything.
It used to be a 4K course to hear what he talks about for free.
Now it's just on his YouTube.
Right.
Like I've learned so much from Alex just watching his free content. And then you go to his website and they'll give you like a free guide, and then they'll give you a book. Like,
with no email. You don't have to give your email.
Yeah. It's crazy. So like that's the ultimate, the highest level. But even before that though, there's people who literally just want to build their YouTube or do this. They'll teach like master classes for free. And it's everywhere. It's on social. Like you said, the best creators are really good at teaching like free information, and then they funnel you over to their email list for free, and then they funnel you over to their YouTube for free, and then eventually maybe they sell you something. But for the most part, there's a lot of free information. So if you are selling information and I have to buy a ticket now, it's like, dang, bro, it better be really good. And then the next part is, I have to travel there. Like I'm used to not having to do that. And then, I have to like get a hotel, and there's all these other things. So there's so much friction with live events. Local, even like I've had people complain on a local level. They'd be like, dude, there's a lot of traffic. I'm like, what? Did I hear you right? You're not coming to my event because there's too much traffic? Like people are so just, I guess, weak-minded, or maybe they're so comfortable with getting the information. So it needs to be more than that. So I think what you do at an event needs to be something that they couldn't just get online. And then you need to convey that message to them. And so part of that is going to be the experience, community, connecting with other people. But then the other part is you learn different in a live setting. So like one thing I've noticed, and I don't know if you've flown to an event before, when you leave your current environment and go fly to another place and sit down in the chair, you have a chance to like reflect on your life and your business and all these things. And now when the person receives the information, like it might click with you. That may not happen on a Zoom or YouTube at night. Like you being around all these people and in that environment, like it hits different. So you have to tell the audience about all this and actually deliver on that. And then that's what can actually push a live event. But I've noticed just the regular day-to-day informational live event is dead. Like it's really hard to fill those.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think that also when you go to an event, you have the ability to recreate yourself.
Yeah.
Like are you from Vegas?
No, we just moved here.
Oh, okay. Where are you from?
I was born in Reno. Or no, I was born in Alaska, but we lived in Reno my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you're even further north than me. I'm from Canada. You're from way up there. But the thing is I've moved a handful of times, and when you land in a new city, you could literally like change your name. Like no one would know. You could be whoever you want to be. Yeah. You could put up like an Instagram page and pretend that you're like some billionaire. People would believe it. So it's really interesting. I think like when you go to an event like that, I'd say like a micro version of that. Yeah. Where now you can come in and it's like, who do you want to be? Do you want to be like the best loan broker or the best, mortgage officer from your town? Like go to that event and like introduce yourself as that. Yeah. Because like then people will start seeing you as that. You go back to your hometown and people will be like you've changed, like all this stuff. Like that's where you elevate.
I'll give you a hack that anybody could use to like get way more out of a live event is, okay, so say you're going to a live event in Vegas, right? You would get your ticket, sign up and go. Bring a media person with you. So like you would go like ask around or maybe go to a website and find a day rate for like a videographer. They'll come with you to the event. So the goal of this is to be able to create content when you're there. So you can create your own highlight video of what's going on. Even if you don't have a following, it's still valuable. The other cool part is you can interview other people while you're there. So like collab. So if I ran into you there, I'd be like, hey bro, can we do a quick video for social? Maybe I just ask you questions. I don't even have to be good at content. I just got to ask you and you answer. Most of this content may not be good, but it's just me building a relationship with you. I could post that video. We could collab on it, you know, and help each other grow. It creates that relationship between the person you're making the video with. But then what I found, bro, is people treat you better if you have a video person with you. So I remember doing this a long time ago at an event where I had no following, and I brought a dude with me that I paid like $500 just to come to the event with me to shoot all day. Even if I never used the footage, people treated me like I was important. Like you just said, you can be whoever you want. They're like, dude, why does this dude have a video guy following him around? Like now, if I do my events today, there'll be like maybe a couple dozen people that have video people with them. And maybe some of them have a following, but I think some of them, bro, are just like leveraging the impact of that. Just what it looks like, you know what I mean?
That'd be a good like little ticket price.
Yeah,
Like
you get your own video.
Yeah.
That's like a high ticket.
Yeah.
VIP. I remember, dude, we have the security guys at our event. These two big dudes that kind of guard the green room for the speakers. Because like some of the speakers we get required that you have it's in their rider that you have security.
Yeah, and there's people who will just like walk into the green room.
Yeah,
and you don't know too. Like, oh, is that person with that person?
No, yeah. And so like we have these two guys that guard. So I remember I was there and there was a guy in our event. He's like, dude, what are these guys doing? And I'm like, they're guarding the green room. I'm like, there's no speakers here yet. And I was like, yeah, I guess that we're just wasting their time right now, but they haven't got here yet. He's like, well, where are you going? What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm going to the bar to meet these people downstairs. He's like, bring one of the dudes with you. I was like, why? He's like, it just would look cool if you walked up with this big dude guarding you. And I'm like, okay. And we just walked down. People like all of a sudden like, hey dude, can I get a photo with you? Like, maybe they were going to ask anyway, but I feel like they treated you more important because you have security with you or because you have a video person with you. So what you just said is really powerful. It's perception is reality. So you can do whatever you want at these events. You can be that big dude, the top producer or whatever, or you could be talking about how you're on the path to do X, Y, Z and you want to connect with other like-minded. Like all of a sudden that becomes now your new outcome.
Yeah, you know, the thing that I find interesting though is like I can see through it now.
Yeah.
And so like there was this event that I was at recently and this one guy showed up with his whole crew and he came up to me and like the bodyguards are right there and he's like, you know, pretending like I'm gonna like, dude.
Yeah, it's too much.
You don't nobody knows you, dude. You don't need a bodyguard. You know?
You can definitely go too far for sure.
This one dinner I went to, this guy had paid for like 7 bodyguards. He had 2 Maybachs outside. The bodyguards were wearing earpieces, standing by the 2 doors. And I'm like, dude, you're just pretending to flex, and no, everyone here knows you're full of it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think there is going too far
For sure. But yeah, one video person with you, that's great. Like,
what do you think?
Helps.
Although when I see that though, I'm like, sometimes it feels a little weird.
Yeah.
I think like if it's you, it's different because like you create content, people know you make content.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I don't want to be that guy that's like, you know, always got someone with a camera over my shoulder.
Yeah. I think like you could do it if you feel worried about what other people are going to think about like, what's it going to look like if I have this person with me? I've noticed more upside than downside with this particular thing. And they can kind of lay back at certain times. So you could be like, hey, I'm going to go talk to my friends and be like, you don't have to come with me. Like chill at the bar or go find something else to do. But there's other times where it's super valuable to have someone just capturing the B-roll or just getting the, like I said, you want to do a quick interview. You need someone to facilitate that. And it makes it actually, you're providing a service to other people. So I found if it's a business and marketing event, most people understand because they're trying to do the same thing as you. Everyone's trying to build their brand. They're trying to build the business. And you're like, they understand, dude, this guy's trying to do the same thing. It's not even a flex, that much of a flex. It's more of just like, oh, he's doing the right thing. He came here to do content. And most people aren't going to do that. And then I would just say this, if you don't have this person with you, do it yourself. Like I'm shocked how many people go to their normal everyday things or they go to, and they're like, I have nothing to post. And then now they're actually in an event and it's like, this is really important. And they don't make any content while they're there, you know, or they just worse, they do it, but they never post it. It just sits in their phone.
So your content, I noticed you're like always moving.
Yeah.
Is that intentional?
Yeah. I think
you're either getting out of the car, back in the car.
I think
walking.
if you're trying to like show what you're doing, movement definitely retains people more for sure. Like if you want to make a talking head video, like you just said, talking head video is harder. What if you walked and talked? You would retain the audience more. So those are just small tweaks you can make. Now I know if you're a new content creator, it's hard to walk and talk, but if you can get better at that, everything's moving around you. You're moving. There's a better pace to your content. People pay attention. So that's a great hack. The other hack that I'll give anybody that would to make their videos better is, you know how you do selfie mode like this? What I do is I'll flip around, use this camera, the back camera. So the back camera is like way better than the front one. This is where all the money's at on the new phone. So obviously wipe the lens. That's the first
zoom
mistake.
out?
Use the wide. So use the 0.5, use this. And now you don't have to hold it as far away because it's on the wide angle. So it's not all up in your grill. You know, it's like right here. You don't have to hold it away. And then if you're moving and you use that, it creates a really cool look because there's like stuff going on. So many times I'll just go out in the parking lot of my office and there's palm trees around and it looks kind of cool. I'll use that wide angle on a sunny day and just walk and talk. And then those stories get like double the views, triple the views than if I were to just sit at my desk and do it like this. You know, so just like those are little tweaks you can make. You're going to spend the time to do the content anyways. What if you could do 2 or 3 things that would triple the reach? We should probably do those 2 or 3 things, right? So it's like, I'm going to put up the effort. I'd like to get the reward. So I just think of everything with digital. The best part about digital marketing for me is like small tweaks give you big results. Like you can put in the same effort, but just make a few tweaks and now you get triple the results, 10x the results. You've seen it before, like change one line of the copy and way more people opt in. Way more people buy the thing. Like that's crazy. And all you did was change one line. So that's the part I think people miss. They just kind of like, oh, it didn't work for me. Well, did you try this? Did you try this? Like, you know, those are just little things you could fix.
What's your feedback cycle when you're creating content? Are you like, I have this idea, I'm gonna shoot right now?
Yeah.
Like just going day to day, is that kind of how it works?
So what I do is I keep a notes app to keep track of ideas because you might get an idea right after this on the way home. Then you could voice memo it to yourself. I don't want people to type and drive and crash, but like try and keep a way to get the idea. My problem, bro, is I get a lot of ideas for some reason when I'm in the shower. So I don't know what to do about that. But
why don't you just make it right then?
Yeah, I guess.
Turn the camera wide angle.
Somebody did send me like a waterproof notepad you could write down.
Oh, cool.
But what I found is you could recreate this. So you ever get into like writer's block or like idea block? You just feel like not inspired. You don't have any ideas. Go for a walk. Like your mind needs to be doing something else besides looking at videos and talking to other people and screens, you know, just all this overload. You need to like give your brain a chance to like expand. So you could put your phone down or put it in your pocket and just go for a walk or do something else and you'll start to think of better ideas. And then now you just need to house them. So I keep them in a notes app. And then what I try and do is when we go to shoot content or the next time I'm going to shoot something, I'll shoot it and try that idea. Now, once in a while, I'll just post it as a story right away in the moment just to see if you get any feedback or you can just test it.
Oh, so that's like testing for you.
Yeah. So you can just post on Instagram stories. It's going to get only limited views because it's a small segment of your audience, but like you can kind of tell if they watched it or if they skipped it. So that's a good kind of quick test you can do. Instagram just rolled out this new feature last week. It's called trial reels. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's so cool. I've been posting on there.
Yeah. So make a post and just hit the trial button. You get to like see if it's going to work or not. And then for me, I really don't care if something bombs. I could just delete it, you know. But in this case, you could actually see if it's working before you push it out to your phone.
So explain how it works. Trial.
Okay. So you would make a video and post it as a reel. Typically, it gets posted to a segment of your followers and a segment of non-followers. And then if they continue watching and engaging, it goes on to more and more. And that's how you reach more people. So what this allows you to do with trial reels is it'll show it to a segment of non-followers, so strangers, and it'll kind of give you feedback on are they watching, are they engaging, and you can see how it's doing. And then if it's doing okay or better, you could go ahead and push it out to everybody like a normal post. But if it's bombing, you could just not. And so it's like, I think it gives people that like little quick test I'm talking about, which is they get to test out their ideas.
It also takes the pressure off of like, what if this doesn't get views and people see that I only have 2,000 views on a video?
Yeah. But like to me, I really don't care as much. Like if a video gets 2,000 views versus one that gets 20,000 or 200,000, I think of the 2,000 views. The reason why I made that video is it was speaking to a direct, like small segment, maybe bottom of the funnel. So sometimes I'll make kind of like a video that's only to a certain part of my audience and I know it's going to get low views. So that's okay. Like, because it's the right viewer, you know? So that can help. But the other way I test content, bro, is I'll just type ideas. So I do a lot of writing. So I'll just write ideas on Twitter and on Threads and then see how it does. And then the best ones I will screenshot and use those as content on Instagram.
Like a carousel.
Yeah. Or you could literally, like I've had several million view plus videos all they are a screenshot of a tweet.
That's probably plays.
Yeah. It's like, this is probably the biggest content hack if your goal was to go viral, was to write something simple, share a simple thought on Twitter, and then screenshot it, and then put that over a still image. So what I do is I go into Canva, we make a 4-second video, and I don't know why it needs to be 4 seconds, but that works the best. So 4-second video, and you put the screenshot over it, over the image. It doesn't even have to be a video. So it's just a still image of you. So it could be like an image of you and I on this podcast, and then a little tweet over that. 4 seconds. You post on Instagram, you pick some sort of audio for the background.
Like the image, and then the tweet would be like in the bottom third.
Maybe in the middle. Like you want it to be legible, not too low because it gets covered up by some of the text on the app. So somewhere where it's legible. There's little tweaks like make sure the text is big enough so people can read it. But I've had, I don't know, I've tried this probably 4 times, and of the last 4 times, 2 of the videos did over 1 million views, and they're only 4 seconds long. And they take me like a minute to make. So it's kind of a cool just hack to, I don't know if that's going to continue working, but it works really well right now.
You check this out. So this is one of my brand pages. I launched this like 90 days ago.
Yeah.
And this Instagram page has reached a crazy amount.
Wow.
Just
really good.
Just by doing that.
By just text over thing,
like
right?
4-second videos. So there's one video, I don't know why it's only showing 4 million on there. One video got 30 million views, and it's like a 4-second video that just loops.
And this account started with no following.
Yeah, nothing.
So that's the crazy part is like you start an account with no followers, and you reach millions of people for free. Like this is not paid, right?
No, barely any paid on this.
Yeah. So those pieces that reached millions, they're like organic. Like all you did was try an idea. And so that's the cool opportunity that people have today where they didn't have before. Is like anybody who's watching or listening is like one piece of content away from like reaching a ton of people. And so we've seen it so many times where we have people in our group, they're making videos like once or twice a week, and they're getting just a few hundred views, maybe a few thousand views. All of a sudden they make one piece of content that gets like 1 million. Or we had one gal in the group, one video she made 8 million views. What happened there is it changed the whole dynamic of her account. She got like a bunch of new followers. Also, some of her mediocre content started to get a lift because of that one viral piece of content. And then now she had an idea that took off. So now she's making different versions of that one video so she can get even, not as much results, but like she can also replicate the result. So it's really crazy. One piece of content away from a totally different outcome. And all she had to do was just keep swinging the bat. And it was free. That's the crazy part. Like you didn't have to do anything, just try something.
Russell Brunson's old thing was you're one funnel away.
Yeah.
But really you're one piece of content away.
Yeah. And that's everybody. It's like, you see it happen every day, right? So there's a small segment of content that goes viral every single day. How do you get into that group? And so you just need to try more pieces of content. And some videos, it goes viral and nothing really happens for you. Other videos is more intentional. Like, so there's different types of content for sure, but I feel like people should, I feel like most people are asleep on that opportunity.
You mentioned Twitter X.
Yeah.
How does that fit into your content strategy right now? And where do you see that going?
So right now, I found that people need something else besides just watching talking videos. Like you said, talking videos aren't necessarily the best. Like people's viewing habits have changed. So being a good writer is like essential. And what I noticed is the person or the writer who can convey the thought in the fewest amount of words wins. Like that means that you're really skilled. If you can teach somebody something in a short period of time on video or in a short number of words on Twitter. So what I started doing is just watching all these writers on Twitter and now it's X. But I was like, dude, why does this tweet do better? Why is this? And I started getting really into it. And then I just started trying stuff. So today it's kind of funny you asked this. So this morning, somebody said, hey, how do I get better at writing? And I was like, I didn't really have a framework. Like, here, follow this formula or like, watch this steps. I was just like, I went to my Twitter and I screenshot the top and it says I've tweeted 8,100 times. I made my 8,100 posts today. I was like, okay, here's the formula, bro. Just do 8,000 posts and you'll get decent at writing. So it's literally like, takes no time. You don't have to get camera ready. You don't need to turn anything. You just type something. It bombs. Cool. Make a tweak. Try again. Learn the things that work. Learn that doesn't work. Start, being a student of the game. So I just got decent at it now after the last few years of messing around. And then what's cool about that is it allows you to test content. So you could test a quick idea And then now you could turn that into maybe a longer video, or you can screenshot it, whatever. So what I do is every single morning before I, this is probably the biggest hack for people who are like, dude, I'd never have time for content. You need to make before you manage. So like when you get up in the morning, you probably got emails. Your girlfriend's telling you something. The studio's asking you for something. There's some client in your thing, and then there's a Stripe issue with the refund. And like there's all this shit to deal with, right? And you're like, immediately you probably jump into this stuff, or maybe you start scrolling social, whatever it is. So now you're all into this whole like working thing, and you didn't make any content. And then you look up and it's like, dude, it's 6 o'clock. I didn't post anything today. I'm screwed. So what I would do is now every single morning, and I would say like probably 98% of the days, I will post something before I start doing that. So make something. And in this case, it could be just quick written thought. So what I do is I write something on Twitter, screenshot it, put it on my Instagram story. So I've actually created something before I started doing all this fires and all this shit for work. And now I'm ahead of the game, bro, because like I've actually posted every day. And then what happens is you start to like find out the opportunities to post during the day, and you can prioritize all that. But if you start your day like that, I feel like your day goes way better. And then now you're actually getting progress with your content.
I think one of the coolest things I've heard in a long time was what you said there. Just want to highlight it, which was the person who can convey the most in the fewest words is going to win.
Yep. I thought it was like, to be skilled, you got to be like, you could do the longest presentation or keep the attention. No, it's like, bro, you need to like condense it, be clear, and say less. And I'm used to rambling in my business. So I'm like, dude, I got to get better at being short and concise. I think that's the biggest problem I see with people is content. It's like, you took way too long to get to the point. Like you got to it, but we didn't need all the setup and this and that. And then also people want to tie a bow on it at the end. Like you could have done it way different, and I think that's the part that people need to get better at. And the best way to find out is just like make a video, post it, and then show it, or you don't have to post it if you want to just show it to somebody else and ask, where do I lose you? And they'll be like, dude, I don't understand the jargon that you use there. And like, be like, dude, I got enough positive feedback. Like, tell me where I suck. Like, ask somebody for real feedback. I feel like everybody just like, oh, good job, man. Like, pat on the back. No, dude, I want to know where I could fix this. So I'll ask my wife. I'll ask my kids sometimes. I'll ask a friend at the office, like, dude, tell me honestly, where did I lose? And they'll be like, dude, right here. I don't know what you're saying, and you lost me. I'm like, okay, shit, I got to go fix that. So that's where the feedback helps. I don't know why people don't do that more. What would you say? Like, they'll be like, dude, I've been super consistent. I'm like, consistent at what? Just sucking? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't they have asked along the way? Like, don't post a million videos and then wonder why it didn't work. I would be like on number 3 asking for feedback.
Yeah, that's great. I think some people don't want feedback.
Yeah, maybe.
They're scared of criticism.
Yeah, but I think like if you're prepared for it, like tell me I suck. That's how I get better. You get thicker skin, I think, the more you do it. I don't know if I would like to ask you this, like, how do you give people negative feedback? Because I have a hard time with that. Like, how do you tell someone, oh, you suck at this, or like that? I feel like it's a dick move, but it's actually helpful because they want to get better. So it gets easier the more you do that. But I don't know if you've struggled with that with working with other people.
It's the classic, the sandwich technique, right? Yeah. But I do it really strategically. Where it's like, dude, I love this podcast has been awesome. You've said so many great things. The content's been amazing. I think if we do a podcast in the future, I would love it if you came in with some really tactical, strong things for people to take away from. That being said, though, dude, this is like one of my favorite podcasts I've shot in a while. So thanks for coming on. Right. So
that's a good way. Yeah. I
don't know though, if would that hit home? By the way, that's not true. Like you've been super tactical and it's been awesome.
No, I think, I think of like, you could just kind of hide it in what you're saying, but it was super nice, but you would think that people would get it. And what I found is some people don't even get that.
He complimented me.
Yeah, they're like, dude, this is great. I did a great job. But I think that was pretty clear. Like, but could you do this next time? I think that would make it even better. And so that's a great way. And then the other part is like, you can be even more direct, like with some people. I think then they'll really get it for sure. Like, hey, this was okay, but like, I want it to be awesome, don't you? Yes, I want it to be awesome. Like they do want to get better and be like, I think if we did this, this, and this, it would be great. So can you try that? And they'll be like, yeah, okay. Like, I think we could just...
For the right personality.
Yeah, for the right person.
For some people, they might close off with that.
Yeah, there's somebody I did that with before, and they got mad and they didn't like me anymore. So I can
Really?
yeah. There's people I've talked to like you lose them because you told them negative feedback.
They went and posted a tweet the next morning.
Yeah.
Right before they got up. They said he told me I got to tweet more. I don't like him, but I'm tweeting more.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I guess trying to get feedback is huge for getting better, and so anybody who wants to get better should be asking other people for straight, candid feedback. We have a thing in our community in school. There, you know how you have post categories?
Uh-huh.
So one of them is feedback request. And so anybody can post a video, put the link, ask for feedback, and everybody in the group has permission to give them the straight feedback. You don't have to sugarcoat or sandwich anything.
That's awesome.
But you agree when you ask for it, you're okay with the feedback.
Is the community for all types of people that want to make content?
It's for real estate and mortgage. And then now what's happened is, just as my brand got a little bit bigger over the last couple of years, I've like got some insurance people in there, financial services, a few coaches and consultants. Like, so it's starting to broaden. In the beginning, though, it was super narrow, just mortgage people. Then it became real estate and mortgage. Then it became a few more categories.
What do I type in to find that?
You just go to school.com/forward. I just got that domain because I don't think there's another forward community on there. So I haven't got lucky. But I think in real estate category, we're number 8 community. I don't know, thousands of communities on the platform, but it's been growing crazy.
How many people are in there?
So it's a paid community, and there's 600 people, I think, right now.
Oh, really good.
Yeah. And the best part about it, and I think why it ranks high, is because the community is engaged. So communities are awesome if people participate. They're dead otherwise, right? So you need people to post and give feedback, and it can't just be me. Like I'm the host of the whole group, and I teach and I do all kinds of stuff. But the best community needs to have its own people and contributors. So what we do is we incentivize the people who contribute the most. So like I noticed the people on the leaderboard. Hey, these are the people answering the most questions, posting more, helping. They're helping me grow. So I want to help those people. So we'll do really cool things for them. We do like a pro call for just the people who rank high. I'm going to figure out swag. I'm going to like keep incentivizing people to contribute. But I just noticed that some communities fail because you get a bunch of people like, have you ever seen a Facebook group that has like thousands of people and there's not been a post in like a month? So it's dead. Like, what do the numbers mean if nobody's doing anything, So, but I love communities as a way. What's your thought on this whole blow up in terms of everybody starting a paid community or either free or a paid community?
I love it because it's a way to build trust and build that community, which has been missing. People try to sell information, and it's a lot of like you said earlier, the same information people used to charge 10 grand for is free on YouTube. Yeah. So what's the thing we can sell? Now with school, at the community I told you about right before we started, we have 100% activity in that. When you go to the metrics, 100%. Do you know what yours is? Like when you go in there?
No, I haven't checked yet.
The 600, you can go into settings and check. 100% of people in this paid community have been active.
That's huge.
And that's how we became the number 1 community in that niche in school. And we are right now. And with that being said, the way we've done that is the leaderboard with the gamification.
Yes.
Right? So at different levels, you can unlock certain things. Now, the thing that we had at level 9, which is the highest level you can have, we had a one-on-one call with the guy whose community it was. And what happened one day we woke up and there was a bunch of guys who'd gone from nothing to level 9. They figured out how to gamify it.
Yeah.
And they just had one thread where they were going back and forth on the thread like 3,000 times.
Yeah, but they're disqualified, right?
Well, the thing is we said we're going to do something. So it's like, hey, you guys got there. Like we're still going to give it to you. So we still did.
Yeah.
But I love it. I think it's what was missing in kind of the info space was this connection.
Yeah. That's why like courses don't sell, but courses with community sell, because you're helping people implement. Like people want accountability partners. They want like to log in and learn from other people and be around these groups virtually. So I think it's huge. I do think there's a lot of people that start one just to get, just to offer something, and then like it doesn't work.
Nothing happens. There's no engagement.
Yeah. So they'll just try and get a bunch of people. Maybe they charge for it or they don't, and then it just dies. So there's probably, a bunch of dead communities, just like there's a bunch of dead podcasts and a bunch of dead other things that people don't keep up with. But the best ones will continue to thrive, I think, for sure. And I would say this to anybody who's trying to find a way to get more sales. Like, so you're trying to get more customers. The best hack could be for you to start your own community, a free community. So like, for example, in real estate, what do you do with people who aren't ready to buy now? They're discarded. Like, you're like, dude, do you want to buy? Are you qualified to buy? Yes. Okay, let's work. If not, like you're gone. There's no way to like you're supposed to stay in contact with them, but to be honest, nobody does. You're supposed to nurture those leads. Nobody does. Those people could be in this community learning how to level up their finances, learning how to fix their credit, seeing success stories of other people closing on deals, and that would inspire them to do it. The reason I got this idea was I went on Reddit to get content ideas. And I went on Reddit, and there's all these threads of people sharing financial fitness advice, like how to level up their money game, how to buy a house, how to fix their credit. And these communities are highly active. And what was cool is people would share their win, like, hey, I'm 26 years old and I just closed on my first house after fixing my thing. And like the comments were lit, like, dude, congrats. Like, and then other people were like, you inspired me to do this. So I was like, man, they should be doing this with these other communities. And I looked on school and other community platforms. There's not that many people in the industry doing this. And if you do it right, like with gamification, it'd be really cool because what would happen is people could be incentivized to help. So like you could do the leaderboard. The people who move up, the prizes could be like credits when they buy their house. It could be like a free home warranty. It could be like a free couch. I don't know. Like you could give out cool stuff to incentivize people to help. So that's just one way, but it could work for any industry. Insurance, freaking coaching, consulting, whatever. Like a free community that is leading to working with you on a higher level, I think is a great place to nurture all your leads and keep track of them all.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of free communities, and we'll do a free community to a paid community.
Yeah.
Or right now, we actually have an event we're marketing for right now that we turned like 20 grand of ad spend into over 200K in ticket sales.
That's huge.
By driving them through the free school community before they can buy a ticket.
Yeah, there you go.
And then we engage with them, and then we sell them in the school DMs, and then we can like nurture them, get them to watch content.
Yeah.
So,
but the free thing needs to be valuable. Like there's got to be some resources in the classroom.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like people start a community, there's nothing there, then there's no value proposition. But if your free thing is actually valuable, then that's great. Now, this is kind of a rub is now it makes people who sell paid communities have to work even harder because your paid community needs to be like good if the free one's good, you know. But that's good, I think, overall because it causes people to level up.
Have you surveyed people who go to your in-person events?
Like
why
we
they
do
went?
afterwards, yeah.
Is one of the top one or two things the connections and the people?
Yeah, 100%.
Is that the main thing?
It's in the top 3.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, oh, I wanted to meet this person. I wanted to hear from this person. But then it's the people in the room, the connections, the conversations in the hallway, you know, the drinks at night. Like that's the real value.
And that's what you're facilitating through an online community.
Correct. And so that's the part that would really help people in any business. So I feel like this is just getting started. But at some point, I'm going to like teach a group how to launch and scale a community because I think that's really valuable. That's way better than like just random followers on the internet. I'd rather get them into into something that you can actually work with them on, leveling up. And people want to go deeper with you. They watch a freaking 30-second video. I mean, they can watch only so many reels, you know, like at some point they need to go into long form. So you need a podcast, you need a YouTube channel, or you need a community, or all three. But you can't just be a short form creator. I think there needs to be a next step with you.
Dude, this has been super valuable. Thank you for the conversation. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
No, man. Just if anybody has questions on any of the stuff, just DM me on Instagram.
We'll link that below, and you can just share it too audibly. What is your Instagram?
It's at Neelhome, NEELHOME.
And then your school is school.com/forward.
Yep.
/forward.
Yes, that's it, man.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks. It's been awesome.